Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio on a Thursday morning. So it was a magical night in Kansas City. Their first postseason game in what?
Well, since
9 years?
2016, I
yeah,
think
something
it was.
like that. And everyone was super hyped. I thought it was a great game, but unfortunately, the Yankees came out on top.
Was a well-played game, as a matter of fact, and you're right about the hype. They had over 40,000. This is one of their biggest crowds ever. Not to say they don't draw all that well, but not like that. Anyway, 40,000 plus filled up Kauffman Stadium. They were ready to go, especially when the Royals tied the game at 2. But it wasn't in the stars. Kansas City just simply could not get the magic hit that they needed. They had their opportunities, but couldn't parlay them, and the Yankees did. Giancarlo Stanton, who's one of the Major League's all-time greatest home run hitters, he blasted one in the 8th inning, 413 feet, I think it was, into the left field seats, and that was the margin. It was the Yankees 3, the Royals 2. Yankees have the lead in that series now, 2-1. They play again tonight at Kauffman Stadium. This is it for the Royals. They have to win or it's all over for them. But nonetheless, that being overlooked, they've had a tremendous year.
It's been a lot of fun. And that's what I've said since spring. It's been a great time watching them, and that's what it's all about. So can't hang their head if they can't make it, but I have a good feeling tonight they're going to do it. But they've got a tough test against Cole, so we'll see what happens tonight.
Absolutely.
They weren't the only one playing yesterday. What about the other teams?
The other two in the American League, Detroit Tigers shut out the Cleveland Indians. I put $10
$5 in the jar, man. You know the deal.
Shut out the Cleveland Guardians 3-0. And the Tigers, it's the Detroit Tigers who lead that series now 2-1. They'll play again today. Boy, wouldn't that be an upset? Well, that's what postseason is all about. There are upsets. Detroit leads that series 2-1. In the National League, all over for the Philadelphia Phillies. They simply did not play consistent baseball in this series. New York Mets beat them by a score of 4-1. 4-1 was the final. And that big hit came late in the ballgame when Francisco Lindor grand slam. That was the 4 runs the New York Mets had. Otherwise, Philadelphia had a 1-0 lead throughout most of the game, but the Phillies' vaunted offensive attack never really materialized, and that made the big difference. The Mets win that 3-1, 3-1. Who did they play next? Don't know yet, because the Dodgers and Padres played last night in San Diego, and the Dodgers won that one 8-0. 8-0. And Mike, think about this. The Dodgers used 8 pitchers in the game. It was a bullpen by committee, and that's what they did. They emptied their entire bullpen. No pitcher threw any more than 1 1/3 innings. That's a magic way of doing things. Does it always work? Heavens no. That's why they don't do it. But the fact is that the Dodgers won the game 8-0, and they play tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. That series is tied at 2 apiece.
It's going to be a madhouse in L.A. After this, of course, we got 5-game series happening right now. Speaking of changing pitchers, last night in that Royals game, goodness sakes, as soon as they pulled the starters in 4, I was like, oh my God. It was like 2 or 3 per inning. Crazy.
It was.
Crazy sometimes the amount of pitch. You're just like, where are they keeping all these guys? But after that, of course, it goes to a best of 7, and that will start when? This weekend?
It does start this weekend for one of the teams. The others start on Monday. The American League Series starts on Sunday afternoon. I beg your pardon. The National League Series starts on Sunday afternoon. That's the way they have it scheduled. So there will be one game on Sunday, and then the American League game will be on Monday, and then it's all best of 7. The winners of this one go to the World Series, which is now scheduled to start on October the 25th.
Normally, I could care less about a NFC matchup, but when it comes to the NFC West, who would have thought that the Seattle Seahawks would be number 1 in that division? It's crazy. And that the 49ers would be tied for 2nd. And then, of course, tonight we got ourselves a little bit of a matchup that actually does pique my interest.
They play in Seattle, Washington tonight, but while the Seahawks are number 1, they aren't favored. San Francisco, battered and bruised as they are, a 3.5-point pick over the Seahawks tonight. This will be an interesting little football game. I wouldn't sell Seattle short at all in this one. They're playing pretty good football, and they have an old man in a rocking chair at quarterback now, which is absolutely great. Anyway, the final will be, of course, the 49ers-Seahawks. That is the Thursday night game. Then that heralds a big weekend of football coming up. But it is San Francisco favored by 3.5 points.
It'll be fun. I got a couple guys playing on my fantasy team, which, what am I, 3-2 now? So I'm having a pretty good
Do you have Geno at quarterback?
No, I actually have Stroud.
That was good.
I've been kind of playing around with the backup. I originally drafted Bo Nix as my backup just super late because as soon as I got CJ, I was like, eh. And then I waited, and by the time I came back, the jury was still out. We still hadn't played anything yet, and everyone was still kind of like, hey man, Bo could be the guy. Well, that was quickly decided upon that he's not the guy. He gonzo. So I've been kind of playing around with my backup guy.
You should have picked Nix when you had the chance.
So, of course, we've got MSU Bears. They're on the road this weekend, right?
They are indeed. Normal, Illinois at Hancock Stadium. They play the Illinois State Redbirds, who are number 16 in America in the 1AA division. Missouri State's number 25. The Bears are playing well. And indeed, Jake Clark has done a great job at quarterback. The Bears are a quick strike offense. Illinois State is total offense. They blew out Southern Illinois last week 45-10 in Carbondale. And that gives you a pretty good idea of what the Redbirds have to offer. But this will be a good one. Missouri State and Illinois State, a very good test for the Bears in their final year of the Missouri Valley Conference. Bears later on this season have both North Dakota State, 9-time national champs, and South Dakota State, the current national champion, 2 times running. Both have them on the schedule. So there's some very good tests for the Bears as they leave the Valley and head for Conference USA. The other game involving the Missouri Tigers, this is a most unusual piece of scheduling, too, to have a non-conference game thrown right in the middle of your SEC season after the Tigers have only played one SEC game. They go to UMass, University of Massachusetts in Amherst. Massachusetts is trying to rebuild its program. They had been 1AA in football right up until, I guess about 2005, 2006, somewhere around there, and decided to get back into the upper level again. Well, they've been playing independent football. They were in the Mid-America Conference for a while, but now they've been playing independent football. But next year, they go back into the MAC again, the Mid-America Conference. Massachusetts is not very good. They're not very strong. They haven't been able to follow the trend of getting better. And as a result, Missouri is a 27-point favorite going into this one. This is probably not going to be much of a matchup, but coming off a loss to Texas A&M, the Tigers
kind of need to have a week to get better.
Yep.
That's for damn sure. My Wildcats got a late night start in Colorado.
They do. Deion Sanders and the
old
Colorado
Primetime
Bucks. You
himself.
never
Hope they
know
give
what's going to happen in this one because their team, Colorado, has been playing a whole lot better. Are they good enough to stay with K-State? K-State's awfully good.
I hope they smack them right in the mouth. So, of course, we actually have a little bit of a battle going on here at Springfield this weekend, too, don't we?
2 games at Hammons Field. The one's at 12 noon. The other is at 6:30. This is the annual Battle for Bell. It's a benefit for the ALS Foundation at Cox Health, the only one for hundreds of miles around here, and it's a very worthwhile. Bell, in this case, is the late Howard Bell, former Bears baseball player, longtime baseball coach, a highly regarded individual, passed from the ravages of ALS back in 2013, and this game has been played. It hasn't been every year, but it's been virtually that. And the original matchup was the Bears and Drury. Well, there are 2 games now. One is Mission, which is the former BBC here in town, against Evangel, both NAIA teams. They play at 12 noon on Saturday when it promises to be about 85 or 90 degrees, somewhere around there. And then the Bears and Drury will hook it up at 6:30 on Saturday night. Should be just a very pleasant Saturday evening to watch a little bit of baseball out at Hammons Field, probably the last baseball of the year other than the workouts, but it is a lot of fun. Bears and Drury at 6:30, Battle for Bell, should be a good time.
Ned, you have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you on Friday.